does the body have the ability to heal regardless of what trauma that has been through? Even after surgeries, trauma, viruses, damage, all kinds of damage to the body, does the physical body really can it heal 100%, really?
Yes. Now, again, you are talking about the idea of quote-unquote circumstances that are relevant to what theme you are exploring. Certain themes you are exploring may not have chosen for the body to be allowed to heal, but in the generalized answer, yes, the body is capable of healing from anything. Anything. But you have to be in the right vibration to allow it to do so. You can aid the body in that sense vibrationally in its ability to heal from just about anything by doing certain physical things that are representative of being in alignment with the collective agreement about what health is, such as detoxification. Because if you live in an environment that you actually believe to be toxic, your body is absorbing those toxins. Those toxins lodge in your cells. So no matter what it is you put in your body that might be beneficial, if the cells are blocked from absorbing the nutrients by being full of toxins, then putting all that will not help you. But if you flush your body of the toxins and make room for the nutrients, then when the body has the building blocks it needs to heal itself, it can heal itself from anything. So that's one approach to it. Obviously, there's an energetic approach, all sorts of different approaches. But fundamentally, yes, your body can be in an absolutely natural state of health absolutely all the time, no matter what it has been through. It can always have the ability. It always has the ability to repair. Because again, remember, what are you actually doing? You're not actually changing that body. You're shifting yourself back into a parallel reality wherein the body is, by definition, healthy. So the answer, in a sense, is yes and no. Linearly speaking, in time-space perspective, yes, the body can heal itself from anything. Mechanically speaking, from a physics point of view, the body actually never has to heal itself. You just have to shift your consciousness into a body that's already healthy. The body that is injured is one body in one parallel reality. The body that is healthy is another body in another parallel reality.
So we take on new bodies and others?
Yes.
So you're saying I'm going to be a different physical body
When
tomorrow?
I talk about the idea that you are shifting through billions of parallel realities every second, I am saying that everything is different, including your body. Because that's just a projection. It's part of the projection of the parallel reality. I'm not saying your original body is moving through parallel realities. I'm saying your consciousness is shifting into the body that's already in that parallel reality. Take me literally. Take me literally. This is actually literally physically happening because physical reality is just an illusion anyway. Your physical body isn't real. Your experience of it is real, but it's just a projection of your consciousness anyway.
So we have some certain therapies that are cutting edge, like O3, certain herbs.
Permission slips, any tool, any technique, any ritual of any kind is a permission slip. Some of those things will work for some people, some of them will not, because people simply need to find whatever permission slip is most aligned with the belief system that they believe will help them, because it is their belief systems and energy fields and resonance that created the dis-ease to begin with. You understand?
Yeah, it's interesting how some people can have a dis-ease and they don't know they have a dis-ease.
Yes. But it is because they are not willing to look at the belief system and they are allowing it to remain unconscious because they are too afraid to look at it. It is fear that causes most manifestations of disease. Fear to look at the things within yourself that you believe might be true. Nothing negative you could ever look at within yourself will ever actually empirically be true. But you might be afraid that it is and afraid to look at it. And the longer you're afraid to accept a portion of yourself then the longer that portion will begin to shout and protest and get your attention in whatever way it needs to. And if it has to create an imbalance within you to do so and get you to face that it belongs to you as a part of you too, and get you to love it as unconditionally as you may love every other part, then it will do whatever it can to grab your attention, even if it has to destroy you to do so. So, if you don't prefer that, the more you pay attention to everything going on within your consciousness, within your beliefs, the more transparent you are with yourself, the more honest you are with yourself about what you hold to be true, the more disease-free you will be. Yes?
So therapies for curing, for healing are basically based on belief.
It is all based on belief. There is nothing in physical reality that is not. It doesn't matter that there might be a physicalized component or a physicalized reflection that you call chemistry or physics or medicine or science. Those are still just reflections of what you already believe in your consciousness to be true for you. Yes?
Yes.
So it's all based on belief. It's all based on consciousness. It's all based on vibration. It's all based on resonance. It's all based on state of being. That's why we say, circumstances do not matter. Only state of being does. Because it's state of being that creates circumstances. Circumstances don't create state of being. It's the other way around.
This person wants to know about fighting illness, that the warlike victim-perpetrator mentality is something that human beings are exploring. And even in our own bodies, we have special cells that fight off invaders. Can you give us a more positive way to look at what is happening as we go through an illness other than fighting it off?
Yes, if you actually pay attention to the mechanisms inside your body, you will understand that your body doesn't fight off invaders. It incorporates them and absorbs them and transforms them. It allows them to pass on, so to speak, to a different state that is no longer harmful to the body. So you need a deeper understanding of the mechanisms that are actually going on in your body so that you don't look at it as a war or a fighting situation, because that's not what's happening. It's a vibrational shift to a different state of being. It's not a fight. And so therefore, with regard to illness, more acceptance of why the illness is there will allow it to transform more quickly by understanding the lessons that it is there to teach you based on your belief systems. So it's not about fighting, it's about relating, it's about communication, it's about understanding and letting it pass on into a different state once you have learned the lesson, once you have absorbed the meaning.
So my question is, what specifically can I do to help my children heal from peanut and tree nut allergies?
There can be many things, but first and foremost, it is important to make sure health-wise that the systems are not polluted. Detoxification of the entire system is key. So first, detoxify the bodies as thoroughly as you possibly can. Actually purge the toxins from the cells. There are many different kinds of formulations, herbal remedies, and potions that can actually purge toxins from the cells to allow the cells to absorb nutrients that will then heal the body from just about anything. The idea of allergies generally, you have to take it on a case-by-case basis to be specific, but generally represent the idea of self-rejection. So they're holding on to belief systems where they're rejecting themselves in some way, because nature seems to be rejecting them. You understand?
So are there specific foods that I should give them, or?
Well, first, again, the idea of the detoxification. Then whatever symptoms are actually left is what you're really dealing with. And you're no longer dealing with the symptoms that are produced by the toxins themselves. You understand?
Yes.
Your air is polluted, your water is polluted, your food is polluted. You force toxins into your system all day long, just by breathing, just by drinking, just by eating. So it is a good idea on a relatively regular basis to detoxify the system to see what's actually left that you need to deal with. It's quite possible that if you actually thoroughly detoxify their system, you may find that most of the symptoms are gone. Yes?
Okay.
And then you can deal with the deeper issues. Belief systems that have to do with self-rejection and so on and so forth, if that comes up.
Okay, so following that are humans are really designed to eat meat if yes,
Not
what kind?
necessarily. It depends upon the human. It's up to you to understand what your body consciousness says that you may need, but you have to really be in touch with what it is it actually needs and not just do it because everyone says you should. And there are also, even if you do eat animal protein, many different ways of going about doing it that are far more natural, far more respectful, far more organic, far more natural. Develop a relationship as it used to be with the animal. Let the animal work with you. And do remember, in every case that you absorb anything from nature, nature is also absorbing you into it.
Okay.
Eating is a two-way street.
I've experienced debilitating severe pain in my body for the last 16 years,
All
which is
right.
getting worse.
All right.
And I'm done with it.
Oh,
I
all
want
right.
it to be healed.
Yes.
And I'd like your help in helping me figure
All
out.
right. Well, again, the first question usually, energetically speaking, is what have you learned from having that experience that you might otherwise not have learned? Start acknowledging what you've learned in a positive context.
I've learned to appreciate ability in the body, and since I've had it taken away from me, I've learned to appreciate putting healthy things in my body through diet and lifestyle, and to try to maintain that optimum wellness.
All right.
Stuff like that.
Anything else?
I've learned that it's awful having it. It's difficult. I prefer not to have it.
Is that what you've learned?
I guess I have to dig deeper to really feel into the deeper lessons that I've learned by having it.
Then that might be a good thing for you to start with. Because when you start acknowledging how creating this for yourself has served you in a positive way, then you will be acknowledging that you've learned the lesson, and then the message doesn't have to be delivered in the same way. You understand?
Yes.
Because you're saying, I'm willing to get this, I'm willing to learn, without necessarily forcing myself into a situation where I have no other choice. Because I've arrived at a place where I am not giving myself any other choice but to know these truths for myself as true. You follow?
Yes.
Now, I do have one other suggestion for you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that you have learned from having this experience, have you in any way, shape, or form been teaching others who have similar experiences how to gain positive lessons from having it?
No, not exactly.
What do you mean, not exactly?
Well, I'm in the helping profession, but I don't think I've directly tried to help other people who have chronic pain.
Why not? Since you are an expert
Well,
at it.
I haven't mastered it, and I haven't overcome it, so I feel
Why
like
do you
I
think you need
that.
to overcome it in order to teach how to deal with it? In fact, what makes you think you won't be a better teacher by still having it while you are also sharing what you've learned from it that might help someone else?
Well, I just don't feel that I do deal with it very well. I feel like I suffer from it. There's suffering that comes from it.
Stop. I'm not talking about the physical experience. We've just had a conversation where you've admitted that you have learned some positive things that you otherwise might not have learned by having this experience. Yes?
Yes,
That's the conversation.
I see.
And while you're having that conversation, not that anyone else has to do it that way, but while you're sharing the possibility, the option that they might be able to turn it around and ask themselves that very interesting introspective question of, well, if I hadn't this experience, would I have learned what I have learned? Would I know what I know? Would I be the person that I've become? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe that's something I really need to look at. By opening up those questions in their mind, by sharing this idea of what you've learned with them, you may find that you will no longer need to experience it that way, and you will overcome it as a process when you are sharing what you have learned from it. Not before you start sharing it, but as part of the process of sharing it.
So
You understand?
yes, I think I do. So being of service through my experience would be very important for me.
Being of service to others is the best way to be of service to yourself, because you are contained within the collective. So when you're willing to support the collective by being your true self as best as you can't be left out. You understand?
I see.
You're including yourself in that, paradoxically, by not focusing on yourself.
I see.
That's how it works. Because then you're out of your way. You've gotten out of your way, and you can let the reflection of what service and help you're giving come back to you. That's the origin of the old phrase, to help someone, you'll get it back tenfold. Because you're multiplying the opportunities and options for them, therefore you also get the multiplication of the opportunity for yourself. And it transforms things for them and you. Yes?
Yes, I see.
Giving of yourself and allowing others to receive what you have is the best way to heal yourself, as well as give them the option to heal themselves. Never hold back your gift. Never hold back your knowledge and learning. Those are the things people are waiting for. And when you hold them back because you think that what you have to share isn't worthwhile, you are compounding dis-ease in the world. See where we're going?
Yes.
So lighten your world up. Give them a better opportunity to change the experience for themselves by changing the experience for yourself by using it in the best possible positive way that you can, so that you are no longer ill at ease with yourself.
Illness, I'm assuming it's chosen before you come into this world, or is it
Not
attracted?
always. Not always. Again, remember, we are now speaking linearly, colloquially, just to have the conversation. Sometimes there are things set up, as you would say, linearly, before this life, that may be the way you feel you need to explore a certain theme. Sometimes you leave it open to how the theme will be explored. And if you find yourself gravitating toward belief systems that by definition would simply automatically attract disease, dis-ease, then you may allow yourself to fall into that experience just because that's one of the things that might have been the result of simply going down that path. It doesn't necessarily have to be decided beforehand, although the theme of exploration may have been decided, but the expression of that could have been done in any number of ways. So it just depends on what it is you have chosen to explore as to how specific the choice has to be. Sometimes things are planned to the second. Sometimes they're left very general, just as a way of saying, well, it could be this, it could be that. As long as it allows me to explore the theme I wish to explore, it could be a disease, it could be an accident, it could be finding something, it could be any number of different things. It just depends on how you wish to have that experience.
When you feel pain or discomfort or fatigue or something, it's in your body. How do you not feel it? I mean, it's just really impossible. I know you may not have a body.
Nothing is impossible, first of all. The idea is, of course, is that on your planet there are many people called yogis and other practitioners and shamans who have developed the ability to allow the idea of pain to be transformed. You understand?
Yeah.
You can do that too if you wish. But again, you must remember at the same time that because many of you have simply agreed to go along with a collective consensus of what physical reality is all about, some things you allow to simply be on automatic. So yes, when you have stubbed your toe, you will usually have some kind of painful sensation because you have agreed on the laws of physical reality, and thus then you simply don't need to take the time to circumvent that. At the same time, if it is of value to your particular exploration and your theme and your life lessons to understand how to transform that sensation into something else, then take some time to explore how the people that are already doing it on your planet do so. It's really mostly a matter of simply shifting your attention or redefining what it is you are experiencing.
So you can redefine anything, even the worst thing.
It's just energy. It's just vibrating energy. You can redefine all of it and have a completely different sensation. Have you not yourself seen or heard of demonstrations of what you call hypnosis, where a person is told that their skin is being touched with a lit cigarette and they blister when in fact it was just a person's finger? Have you not also conversely seen where people have been touched with a lit cigarette and not blistered because they were told it was just a person's finger? Have you not understood this idea?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think's happening there?
They
believe the reality they are being told.
Yeah.
Thus, then, that is the response.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah, I understand.
So anything can be transformed as long as the focus, as long as the energy, as long as the perspective says one thing, then whatever is not the vibration of that belief will never have the ability to affect that person.
These basic requirements, again, you have all heard them, but let us take a refresher course at this time, and it is basically as follows. It really is, in your terms, quite a moot point to discuss any specificity about the idea of how to cure this, how to get rid of that, how to clear this and that up, unless and until each and every one is fully utilizing these simple principles in their life. And number one would simply be this: oxygen. Many of you do not necessarily allow yourselves to get full requirement of oxygen in your systems, especially, no offense, in the way that your atmosphere happens to be at this time in terms of the fact that it is loaded with pollutants. The idea, of course, is the oxygenation of the system is the primary fundamental key that allows all of your cells the capacity to build themselves in the way that they need to be built. Oxygenation of the system is the fundamental element to begin with, and can to some degree be enhanced to the best of your ability by making at least an attempt to find some relatively clean environment, and or at least oxygenation of the system through the idea of deep breathing exercises, some kind of yogic practice, or at least some kind of restful meditation wherein there are deep, regular breaths, or at least the idea of relaxation, so that you are not, in that sense, panic breathing, which is short breaths, do not allow the idea for oxygenation of the system to fully occur. Number one, then, oxygen, oxygenation of the system. Number two, hydration of the system. Do you have enough water? You are, as physiological beings, mostly water, yet many of you will ingest many things that will actually divest you of the hydration of your system, dehydrate you. And as many of you are beginning to understand, many of the so-called symptomologies that you might begin to attribute to many exotic diseases are actually nothing more than the symptoms of dehydration. In the sense, then, that your body is similar, in a sense, by analogy to a battery. If you do not have proper hydration, not enough water, then your cells, in that sense, can burn out, short out. You can become, in that sense, dry, like a battery, and cease to function, cease to become electrically conductive. And in that sense, also, lack of hydration, lack of water in the system will not allow your cellular structure to flush the toxins in your system from the system, and this can cause many forms of buildup that will allow the immunological system and many cellular and enzymatic functions to cease, thus again causing many different kinds of symptomologies that can then open the door and lead the way to opportunistic organisms to bring about more and more complete forms of disease. So the second idea is hydration of the system. Each and every one of you must find that it will be generally acceptable to have between 1 and 2 quarts of water a day. Otherwise, you will find you may not really readily have enough. Now, of course, every single individual is different, but you must understand something very important. When you are actually thirsty, that is your body's final signal that you do not have enough water. If you had proper hydration, you would rarely ever be thirsty. So use that as a marker. Number 3, you have heard this, of course, many times, and again, it is of paramount importance and is not to be taken lightly: exercise. Movement. Movement is like the ability to pump the body, to allow the muscles to function as pumps for the cellular structures, to allow the water to flush the toxins from the system, to allow there to be energetic revitalization, and allow there to be strengthening of the muscular and skeletal structures, to utilize all of the different mineralogical elements that are going into the body and to allow them to act as building blocks nutritionally. Exercise and movement also, in that sense, will be representative of being active, of being energetic, of flowing energy through you rather than allowing it to sit around and build up and convert itself into mass. In that sense, what you would call waiting to move. In that sense, in your language, then, the analogy of simply putting on weight because you are waiting to do something. The idea then is to understand that oxygen and hydration and movement are critical. Also then, very important, number 4, the reduction of stress in the system. Again, many of the so-called symptoms that many of you attribute to the beginnings of disease are simply nothing more than the side effects of undue stress in your lives. We would highly and strongly recommend that you find any way, shape, and form to reduce the stress in your lives, and if that means letting go of those things such as work situations and so forth that you know in your heart of hearts do not serve you, I would recommend that you do so. Or at least use your imagination to find a way to convert that situation into something more exciting, more enjoyable, more relaxing for you. Reduction of stress is of paramount importance in your society. Number 5, the actual attempt at elimination of whatever toxins may already be in the system, removal of the toxins from the environment you are in, removal of the toxins, cleansing of the system for the buildup of toxins that may already be in the body is also of critical importance, and there are many different kinds of cleansing rituals that one can take advantage of to allow the system of the body to be cleansed out from the buildup that may have occurred over time, and to allow yourself to remove from the body many different kinds of heavy metal poisonings, and to allow yourself to pay attention to what it is you put in your body in terms of the pesticides and the heavy metal toxicity that may exist side by side with many of your foodstuffs. So removal of the toxins from the system is also of paramount importance. Number 6, the idea also of lightening up your diet in many ways, especially in that in your society you have many different kinds of hormone imbalances and toxic substances that have been injected and added to many of your foodstuffs. Lightening up your diet will at the very least assist your body by the ingestion of more and more foodstuffs that contain higher amounts of water, such again as the vegetable foodstuffs in that sense, that are mostly water, just like your body, and eaten in raw, fresh state as organic as possible, will also be of great assistance in lightening up your energy and allowing for cleansing of the system. Some small amounts for certain individuals, again, where necessary, of protein, perhaps even in meat form, is acceptable from time to time, but we would suggest that you do not overdo it, especially in the day and age on your planet where you will find that many of the protein meat substances on your planet, as we have said, are heavily laden with all sorts of toxins. Be very cautious about that idea. And also understand that as you do accelerate your energy, as you do accelerate your systems, it will be less often that you will need such support, and you will find yourself being highly energized by less and less and less. And the more natural your food is, in that sense, the more capable it is of giving you, of delivering the nutrients that you need and energizing the system so that you actually need less food. So you will find that these things will work hand in hand, that as you clarify your system, give it oxygen, give it water, reduce the stress, so on and so forth, your body will be, A, more receptive to the nutrients that are there in your natural foods, and as you then feed it more naturally, you will find that you will be energized and require far less. So these ideas are simply the foundation of health. And if you will allow yourself to recognize that these are very simple things that can be added to your life, you will understand that in, shall we just say, for analogy's sake, 99.99999999999% of the cases, these 6 ideas alone will eliminate almost any chance you will ever have of contracting any kind of disease in your life at all. So when you talk about the idea of how do we cure cancers, how do we cure AIDS, how do we cure this, how do we cure that, that's how you do it. By changing the lifestyle in that way and making sure your body has the foundational things it needs so that you will simply never get these things, because the body in and of itself has the natural intelligence to never bring about these kinds of diseases if you simply supply it with the immediate natural fuels that it needs, which are oxygen and water and lack of stress and lightness of food in that sense. Plain and simple, that's really all it will take for most of the things and most of the ailments you find that exist upon your planet.
That when people experience depression, they're defining their experience in a negative way and so experiencing it as depression, when in fact all it really is the natural compression that happens when you know you're looking for answers that can't be found out there. So you go to where you know they are, within. And you reevaluate yourself, and you redefine yourself, and you emerge as a new person, literally. But if you define the idea of going within that way to look for answers as something antisocial, something's wrong with you, you're not outgoing anymore, you're withdrawn, if you start defining that idea in a negative way, even though it's a natural mechanism, you will start to experience the negative effects of defining it that way. And it turns into depression instead of compression.
Hi.
Hi.
I would like to thank you for last night's dream and the downloads over the last few days.
Yes.
And my question pertains to an energetic system that I've been getting downloaded with over the last year and a half, which I'm coming to understand as being Maitreya consciousness.
All right. You are working with that particular archetypal consciousness then?
Yes.
All right. And so that's your permission slip at this moment?
It is.
All right.
And my question pertains to what elements I might be missing in regards to this energetic system. In my current understanding, it deals with aligning the pineal, the heart, and the base, and the crystals within the blood, and our glands with those within the earth, which then align with the sun, all the other suns, and the great central sun.
All right. Does that system work for you?
It seems to. However, I'm curious if there are any elements of this system that I am missing, or if there's anything that you can inform me of that would help me to deepen in my understanding of it.
All right. I can ask you a question that may help.
Certainly.
Are there any of the elements you have mentioned that you feel you can do without? Can you simplify the system for yourself?
Well, one of the elements here is it's not just for myself. It's for humanity. And so I'm trying to deepen in my understanding of it so it becomes translatable to others.
Yes, but that's not an answer to the question we asked you.
Okay.
Is there any element that you mentioned that you feel you can do without in that system? That by dropping one of the elements you mentioned, does the system feel a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more powerful to you? Is there such an element?
Potentially the crystals in the blood.
Is that a question or a statement?
Well, I'm not clear of the answer that I have.
Why did you pick those?
Because I'm not as connected with the crystals in the blood as I am with the energies in my base, heart, and pineal.
Then you have answered the question. Drop the elements that don't completely make sense or work for you. The elements you're working with in a permission slip must be crystal clear. No pun intended. All right, a little bit of a pun intended.
Nice.
But the point is, from our perspective, it would actually be more beneficial for you to streamline the permission slip rather than say, is there something missing? There actually needs to be something missing. So that it will work more efficiently for you rather than being overloaded with elements that don't quite make sense and work for you. So take some time to examine it. It's all right if that's your permission slip, but take some time to examine it and see if there's anything you can kind of let go of or merge together into something that makes more sense as a single element rather than two or three, and see if that feels more powerful to you.
Okay.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
That's our suggestion.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I like that.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah. So I've been surrendering to some feelings, some knowings in my soul, in my heart.
All right.
And one of these elements pertains to a possible death of some layers of consciousness. And,
death of layers of consciousness?
Mm-hmm. Ego, if you will.
Well, you can't get rid of the ego until you're dead.
Okay.
Literally, physically dead. You can allow yourself to experience the ego in a neutral way, the way it was designed to work. It doesn't have to be the negative ego. That you can certainly let go of. But you can't let go of the ego structure or you'll have no personality. You will just be a shell.
So is that how you define the ego as personality?
In a sense, it's the physical persona that you are pretending to be in order to have a physical experience. We often use the analogy of a diving mask. If you're going diving in the ocean, things will look a little murky to you unless you put on a diving mask to make things clear. The ego structure, the personality structure, is the diving mask that you put on to go diving into the idea of experiencing physical reality. The ego's job, the physical personality's job, is just to make what you're experiencing clearer. That's it. It doesn't have the power to decide where you should go, how things should work out, or any of that. In the same way that a diving mask doesn't tell you, go there and look at that fish now. Now go over there and look at that piece of coral. Oh, look at that. There's a shark coming your way. Isn't that wonderful? I think you should swim this way. The diving mask does none of that. You decide where to go. You decide what to look at. The diving mask just makes it clearer. That's all its job is, to allow you to experience what's happening right now. The higher mind knows what needs to happen, and the higher mind will guide you. But the ego is just there to allow you to have what you call the physical dream. Make sense?
It does. So then how did Jesus see all of this then?
Say that again.
So how did Jesus see all of this then?
How did Jesus?
When he surrendered to the depth of his soul within his heart.
No, not really.
What
That's a misinterpretation.
What's your interpretation then?
He surrendered to being his greater self. That's very different. That's actually becoming more of your soul. Yes?
Okay.
That's expressing more of your heart. Does that make sense? You understand that physical reality is literally just a dream that your spirit is having? Literally. You have never left spirit. None of you have. That's your natural state. You're there right now. You are in spirit right now. You are dreaming that you're not. That's what physical reality is. So the entity that you call Jesus simply understood that and therefore expanded the consciousness beyond the physical parameters to a certain point, to allow a fuller expression of his total being and the being of all that is to come through, as all of you can do. That's actually what he was teaching. Not about the idea of creating Christianity per se, but that you are all Christ's. And therefore, what he exhibited, you can exhibit. In fact, that's actually still in your Bible as a quote from him. Greater things than I have done will you do. How could that be if you are not also capable of becoming a Christ? Yes? Does that make sense?
It does.
All right. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, for the most part. For the most part.
What part didn't it answer?
There's something inside of me, deep in there, that I'm starting to get in touch with, that the more I view the world through it and connect with it and start to express it, it's creating more questions and a lot more deep answers.
Of course. That's your greater self.
Yeah.
That's you connecting to your greater self and allowing more of it through. Yes, of course. That's how it works. The more you become, the more can come through you. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help?
It does.
Did that leave any part out?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
All right. That's fine.
Yeah.
Please continue your journey and have fun.
Yes, that's my sense right now.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
So, this is what flow feels like. Following my excitement, and I'm here.
Yes, this is what flow feels like, because every single one of you has a current in creation, and your current knows where you need to go. So just go with that flow And you'll wind up exactly where you need to be, exactly when you need to be there, with exactly who you need to be with. Perfect principle of synchronicity organizing your life.
Yes, I've never experienced this before. This is fantastic.
Yes.
To the best of my ability, with no hesitation. Okay, so my question is there a way that we can really remember ourselves, our real selves?
Yes. That's why we give you the formula. That's what happens. It all boils down to a few simple instructions. Because when you follow the instructions of acting on your passion to the best you can, with no assumption, no insistence on the outcome, and you remain in a positive state no matter what's happening, what happens? You raise your frequency. When you raise your frequency, what happens? You become a more sensitive antenna to higher frequency communication and information and intelligence. When you become a better receiver of that information, what happens? You expand your consciousness. When you expand your consciousness, what happens? You know yourself more deeply, more fully, more truly. It all works together. That's why we give you the instruction manual. Almost every single question most of you ask us is contained in that instruction manual. By doing it, you will be more of yourself. And when you are more of yourself, you will know more of yourself. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Why do we keep forgetting our power so quickly, so easily?
Because you have been trained to. Because you have been trained to buy into fear-based beliefs that say you are not worthy, you are not deserving, you are not powerful, you are not confident, you are not trusting, you are not connected, you are out of control. Yes? These are the things that you are taught on your planet when you grow up in your society, from your parents, your friends, your schooling. But when you become an adult, you begin to realize, hey, I was spoon-fed something that I can't digest anymore. That's not me. I needed to believe it was me for a while because other people made me believe that if I didn't believe that, they wouldn't take care of me. They wouldn't like me. I wouldn't survive. But now, you're an adult. You can handle survival on your own. You can thrive. You need to find out who you really are. You need to let go of the things that are no longer you, that supported you up to a point, but which you no longer need. You're carrying around, most of you, other people's belief systems that have nothing to do with you, other people's baggage, so to speak. Your baggage weighs nothing. If you feel held back, it means you're carrying around someone else's baggage. Drop it. Find out what those beliefs are that are out of alignment with who you truly are, who you prefer to be. And when you bring those fear-based, negative-oriented beliefs to the light of your consciousness from your unconscious mind, and really see what they say, the first thing you will notice is, more often than not, they will appear illogical, nonsensical, when you really examine what they say. You will see right through them as a lie. And therefore, as soon as a belief appears to you to be nonsensical, it's gone. That's the end of the process of letting it go, not the beginning. Because you don't hold on to anything that appears nonsensical. If you do hold on to the belief, that means there is another belief that is making that belief appear to make sense. You have to find out what that belief is and keep digging and digging and digging until you come down to the fundamental, foundational belief that is holding all the other ones together. And as soon as you crack that fundamental negative belief, all the other ones will collapse. But sometimes a negative belief, a fundamental one, because it is attempting to perpetuate itself, like all beliefs are made to do, may hide under other beliefs. Allow you to think, oh, look, I discovered that negative belief, it's gone, now everything will be different. But you see that it's not. You keep acting the same way, keep behaving the same way, keep feeling the same way, keep thinking the same way, keep having the same kind of negative experiences. That simply means you haven't found the fundamental negative belief. Keep digging. Once you find that and see that it makes no sense and truly let that one go, then everything changes, everything shifts.
Agreed.
You will find out, generally speaking, even though there may be very many specific ways in which this can be expressed in your life, you will usually find out that the fundamental negative belief is some variation of I'm not worthy. And yet, you exist. How could it be that you exist if you're not worthy of existence? Do you believe creation makes a mistake? It doesn't. Nothing is pointless within existence. It exists for a reason. So if you exist, just to put it in colloquial language, existence must need you to exist in order for it to be complete unto itself. Because if it really didn't need you, you wouldn't exist. Therefore, you are worthy by the fact that you exist, and you don't need another reason to be worthy. If you start to believe that you are unworthy and keep believing that you are unworthy, you are arguing with creation about your worth. You will never, ever win that argument. Ever. Because you cannot cease to exist. You may change form, but you, the you that is you, the reflection of all that is your perspective, your unique consciousness, cannot cease to exist. Why? Because by definition, there's nowhere for you to go. Non-existence, by definition, doesn't exist. Think about it. That's the quality of non-existence, to not exist. It doesn't exist. That's its quality. So if you exist, you can't become non-existent because non-existence doesn't exist. There's nowhere for you to go. So you are worthy because you exist. Is this making some sense to you?
I am feeling all of these things. I feel these almost like I'm a hive and the hive is splitting in some way. And so I'm just going the right direction. And
if you're being you,
I'm
yes.
definitely being me for the first time in my life. Just me, not carrying other people's baggage, but still on the same journey.
Well, yes, on the journey of being you. You see, that's actually your purpose in life, all of you. To be you, as fully as you can be. You may express that purpose in a number of ways, but those are the expressions of your purpose. Your purpose is to be you. That's it. Simple. Don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. Just be you. Even though most of you have been taught to do this, the hardest thing to do is to be someone you're not. The easiest thing is to be you. All the pain, all the struggle, all the strife, all the difficulty comes from trying to be someone you're not. All of it. When you start to go with your flow, as we talked about, that's your current, it becomes effortless. It becomes automatic. It becomes joyful. It becomes creative. It becomes loving. It becomes fulfilling. Because all those things are automatically contained in the automatic guidance system that goes with being yourself, that's built in. Surrender is not giving up control. Surrender is surrendering to the control that's already built into you. Go with the flow. That's all you have to do. Of course, if you're really excited about overcomplicating it, I'm not going to stop you. Because if that's your joy, then that's your joy. If that's your path, then that's your path. But you get to decide. The greatest freedom all of you have is the ability to choose. So choose. Is this helping?
Yes, yes, thank you very much.
You are very welcome.
Thank you for being my friend. Nice to meet you.
And you as well.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
My question is about Europe, because I think there are also some fans from Europe. And I didn't find many information on vortices and energy points in Europe. Can you maybe tell some hotspots?
Well, I think you already know of some, certainly. Such places as the stone circles. Yes? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, there are many stone circles throughout Europe that are marking different places of high energy vortices. There are certain places that are famous for a reason, because people are attracted to the vortices and then build major cities there, such as Paris. The Eiffel Tower is literally at the center of a vortex. That's why these things get put where they get put, because whether it's conscious or unconscious or instinctual, you gravitate to where that energy is and create representations that demark them. So quite often you will find that the most, shall we say, observable or sacred, or sometimes the most mysterious edifices are usually placed somewhere within a vortex. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Does that help?
Yes. Some
But-
travel points.
Well, obviously, sometimes there are also mountains that will serve as indications of strong energy upwellings and vortices on your planet. What you call Vesuvius is one, very strong vortex. The island of Crete is another major vortex in the Mediterranean, especially the Temple of Knossos. You follow?
Yes.
All right. One moment. The region occupied by what you call the Basque people is a very particular kind of vortex that connects to certain ancient lineages going back to Atlantean times, very powerfully. Many times where in England the crop circles form, other major vortices are there. The Isle of Man is an extremely powerful vortex that has to do with the opening of mysteries. And there are many others. But you can find the rest by using your senses and being attracted to places, and that will tell you that there's some energy there for you. Anything else?
Yes, thank you. Is there any particular very strong point, because there's like all over the place in Sedona, a nice vortex to visit for cosmic energies?
Bell Rock is the center of the vortex that covers all of Sedona.
Okay.
That's why my ship is above it.
Good to know.
Does that help?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Are there any other beings beside my higher self that want to make a message now?
You are being given the messages that you need to be given through this conversation.
Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So what we are talking about working on here today with the concept of flipping the switch and using the concept of your shifting through parallel realities to get a better bead on the idea, a more precise understanding of the idea of manifesting the parallel reality you prefer, is to focus on the idea of creating a greater degree of difference than you normally do, so that you will be able to feel the shift, to see the shift, to perceive the shift more viscerally, more concretely. And the idea, thus then, is to allow yourself the opportunity to let go of the definitions that you have been brought up to believe are necessary for the labeling and defining and designing of the parallel realities that you do already automatically experience, so that you can design, in a sense, the parallel reality that is more in alignment with the parallel realities or sequence of parallel realities that you prefer, that are more representative of your true nature, your true core frequency, your true natural self, your true vibration. Here's what you can begin to do. Just have an overall image, an overall representation of your life as it is. In whatever way that comes to you, just to paint a picture, like you're looking at a movie screen if you wish, and just see up on that screen, see yourself, see an image of you, going about the things that you are already doing in life. Nothing different than what you're already doing. It can be anything on a day-to-day basis, this and that, big or small, doesn't matter. Just see yourself as you are. Now, when you are ready, blank the screen, wipe the screen. Now, replace it with an image of yourself going about your day-to-day business in what you consider to be, for now, your preferred, desired, ideal reality, your ideal life. Fill that movie screen with your image and look at all the things, create all the things in it that are representative of what the things are you would be going about doing in your ideal life, your ideal reality. Some of them may be the same. Some of them may be different. Whatever it is, just take a look at it. Now, in your mind's eye, put those two screens side by side or one above the other. Look at one screen that represents your life as it is. Look at the other image on the other screen that represents your life as you would prefer it to be. Notice the differences. Notice the differences. Notice the similarities, but notice the differences. Whatever differences you noticed, from small to large, are the things that represent vibrationally, symbolically, representationally, that ideal life. Whatever symbol you conjured up represents vibrationally that preferred parallel reality, because that is a real, already existing parallel reality, and that version of you in that reality already exists as a real person in that universe, in that reality, which is a completely different reality than the screen that represents your life as it is right now. Again, allow yourself to remember the differences, but understand that these two realities coexist right now, simultaneously, interpenetrated, overlapping, only separated by the slightest difference in vibrational energy. Now, it may be a slight difference, but if the picture looks very different, then it is a difference that is enough of a difference in vibration that you are noticing the difference. And that's the key. Different enough that you notice the difference. Different enough so that it's not in your mind, as you are used to experiencing, a smooth continuity from one second to the next, but would be representative of some time passing in between. In other words, some of you might see the image of the life as it is now, see the image of the life that you prefer, and you might automatically find yourself assuming that it would require some span of time in order for one to change to the other. The thing to understand is that it actually, in a sense, requires less time than you think, and in fact actually uses no time at all. When you decide, when you choose to actually be that person in that reality, it will happen instantaneously as a shift from whatever parallel reality you were experiencing a moment before that. But you can create the illusion of process, the illusion of time lag, the illusion of linear continuity to make it seem as if it's taking time to become or experience that reality. But that reality exists right now. So manifestation in this context is simply the degree to which you are willing to allow the definition, no matter how different it looks, to actually be real right now, to know that it exists right now, and most importantly, in this particular permission slip, to be willing to actually be that person in that representation right now. When you go back now and look at the two images you created, and if you see differences in them, one of the differences you will probably see is a difference in how you behave in the two realities. Many people on your planet, when they imagine themselves going through their day-to-day existence as it is now, and then imagine themselves going through their day-to-day existence in the reality they prefer, will suddenly realize there is a great degree of difference in your behavior, in your body language, in what you're wearing, in your attitude, in your energy. Look at the difference in you in those two images. It is important to understand the following. This principle is paramount here. You cannot experience what you are not already the vibration of. So the idea is, if you see that version of you in that preferred ideal reality doing certain things, the you are now is not capable of experiencing those things unless you actually start being the person in that image. If you don't behave like that person, dress like that person, talk like that person, walk like that person, think like that person, feel like that person, you will not experience the things that person is experiencing, because that is not just a different version of you. It is a different person, literally, entirely. And you, the greater you, as a consciousness, can shift between the person you're experiencing yourself to be now and the person that is represented in that ideal scenario. That you, the bigger you, the consciousness that you are, will be the same, but the person, the physical construct, the temporary personality that you consider yourself to be as a physical being will literally not be the same person, because you are not the same person from moment to moment to moment to moment. As we already said, billions and billions of times a second, you're actually becoming literally, quite literally, not metaphorically, quite literally, a new person billions of times a second. The idea again here is to pay attention consciously to the fact that you can design the person, design the reality to be different enough so that you can actually tell the difference, that it is really a different reality, a different you, a different universe. And that's what this exercise is designed to do, is look at the differences so that you can know that when you shift, you're shifting totally, utterly, totally, and instantaneously. There is no real time lag at all between becoming one reality and another, between experiencing yourself as one person and another. None whatsoever. But you can create this continuity, this illusion that there is, or you can start to let that go. Now, it will not let go entirely, of course, as long as you still have a reason to experience the physical reality idea at all. We are not talking about eliminating it completely, although from time to time, as you do these kinds of exercises, as you gain this kind of insight and this kind of knowledge, you may find space and time becoming a little more slippery. You may find things happening very rapidly, maybe sometimes even instantaneously here and there. This will be somewhat sporadic, but it can accelerate. Nevertheless, you will still retain some sense of space-time in order to have a context in which to experience the idea you call physical reality, but you can allow your experience of it to become something far more different than what you're experiencing now, accelerate it far more rapidly than what you're experiencing now. Again, not literally accelerating it. When I say accelerate it, I mean experience as if you were accelerating, because you're already shifting as fast as you can. You're already shifting totally. So you can't shift more than you do. You can't shift faster than you do. What you can change is your perception, your experience of the idea, so that you can become aware of the fact that you are shifting totally, shifting instantaneously. That's the whole idea to this exercise, to become aware of the fact that you're already shifting totally, already shifting instantaneously, and you can't go any faster. The way, as we said, to recognize that is to create a parallel reality that is different enough that you notice that you're shifting immediately and totally. So the idea is, as you see that image and you see that version of you there, start from this moment forward, from this day forward. Start being, start behaving, start mimicking that version of you. Because that's what your imagination, that's what your visualization is for, is to create the state. Because if you really, really are having an image in your mind that's representative of your ideal reality, not only will the you, the version of you in that picture, look excited, you'll start to feel excited about that reality. You'll feel that energy now. It will start to leak into you from that image. That's what it's for. That's its job, to put you in the proper state that is representative of the ideal reality, no matter how that reality actually will appear physically.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you so much for this workshop and for last night.
You are welcome.
I have a friend who has been attending your seminars and sessions for many years.
Yes.
And he decided that his excitement was to spend all of his time studying this information to find out his true excitement in life and what he wants to do.
All right.
So he gave up...
Excitement is to find out what his excitement is.
Exactly.
I see. All right.
So he gave up his job. He moved back east to live with his father.
Yes.
He's been living there for 2 years.
Yes.
And all he does every day is
Yes.
listen to your tapes
Yes.
and meditate.
All right.
And he's now at a position where his father is going to be moving to a small home where he's now going to be basically on the street with no money or anything.
I suppose he will find that exciting.
Yes. And what I'm finding
Yes.
is that some judgment is dipping into my belief system.
Why?
I've been helping him to share some of this information with him.
Yes.
And because I'm realizing that my core belief system, which I was given through my parents,
Yes.
is that you have to work hard to get your goals.
I see.
And I do work very hard, but
Yes.
it's also my play.
Yes.
And so I find...
When it is play, automatically people will work at it. It won't be an effort, it will just be hard work because they don't want to do anything else.
Right. So I'm following my joy and I'm doing what I like to do, what I love to do. But I find myself resisting giving this information to him because I'm finding that I feel in my belief now that
Yes.
he needs to stand on his own and not
All right.
worship you.
That does not necessarily have to be a representation of judgment. It can simply be what you might call an astute observation of what we already pointed out. He's not actually, so to speak, acting on his excitement. He's using his excitement to find out what his excitement is. And in a sense, he is removing himself one step from the actual doing of something that he might actually find will support him. Although it's not impossible that what he's doing will support him, his belief systems may make it more difficult for that to support him until he realizes it's all about actually doing what excites you rather than doing what excites you to figure out what excites you.
Right.
But the idea of no longer feeding him the information might be an astute observation that will give him an opportunity to recognize he needs to move to the next stage and realize he can find his excitement much more easily than he thinks and not spend so much time simply looking for it.
Okay.
Does that help you?
It does. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Hello.
And to you, good day.
Thank you. It's my first time here, so I'd like to ask you some questions if I could.
Oh, all right. I'm supposing that you can ask the questions. Yes.
Yes. I'll just rattle them all off.
Rattle, rattle. All right. Rattle away.
Okay. One is I would appreciate it if you could give me more clarity on what you mean by definition.
Yes.
In other words, the definition, I would appreciate that.
All right.
The other is some examples of like core beliefs
Yes.
of what
right.
those might be.
All right.
And then another would be how to, in other words, when you talk about following your excitement,
Yes.
is it, that one should then follow what excites them and just keep moving in that direction? Is that what you're...
Yes.
Okay.
Because excitement, by definition, is the actual physical translation of the vibration that represents your true core being. So anything that brings with it the highest level of excitement, love, creativity, passion, is actually the thing to take action on, no matter what it appears to be, no matter in what form it comes, because excitement is the thread that leads you to more of yourself and leads you to all other things that can manifest in your life in an exciting way.
So follow that excitement.
By acting on it, yes.
Mm-hmm. By acting on it.
That's the thread to follow. Not how things look on the surface, not what the ego thinks is connected as the next thing you're supposed to be doing, but the things that come to you that contain the highest joy is the signpost, is the marker of the next thing to do. And even though it may not, from your physical mentality point of view, seem like the quickest path, it actually is.
Right, so ironically, although the parents in my personal situation did not encourage that at all, they basically said, follow your duty in a sense.
Yes.
Follow what is expected of you.
Yes.
As opposed to...
Yes.
So, okay.
Now, sometimes it may dovetail with your excitement, but on your planet very often it doesn't.
Correct. All right, so...
Now,
yeah.
The idea of definition is simply that we are talking about ingrained belief and finding out specifically what that belief is, how you have defined your relationship to any given situation. Who you think you are in relation to what's happening in your life is basically what we mean by your definition of yourself in that situation. And the example would simply be that as you experience things, you have either certain kinds of reactions or responses to them emotionally. You follow me?
Yes.
All right. And those emotional responses are completely derived from your definition of who you are in relation to that thing. So on a very simplistic level, if you are in a situation, you find yourself having what you typically as humans call a negative emotional reaction or experience to it, that's primarily because the definitions you have about yourself are allowing you to color your energy in that way. And those definitions are primarily probably out of alignment with your true being. If you experience a response that is joyful to the situation, or at the very least neutral, then most likely your definitions are in harmony with your true self. Who you define yourself to be in relation to that thing is more aligned, more harmonious. A core definition in a situation can be something along this line. Let us say a person feels that they are having negative emotional experiences with regard to the idea that they are struggling to create what they call abundance in their life, and they find it difficult to do so. The idea may be that when they get down deep into their definitions, they may discover that they have been taught conflicting beliefs. In other words, on one hand, the parents may have said, You will never really be successful unless you are rich. On the other hand, they may also have been taught to believe money is the root of all evil. So, what they grow up with is this conflict, and they make a decision about who they are in relation to that, and all of a sudden it becomes more important to them to define themselves as a good person. But because they wish to define themselves as a good person in context to the belief they have been taught to buy into, they will say, well, the only way I can be a good person and not an evil one is to never be rich. And all this may be going on unconsciously within them, and so they will actually do their very best to keep abundance away in order to, in their definition of themselves, be a good person. But that's only because they're associating it to a definition they've been given that means that having money equals the fact that you're an evil person. You have to find that core belief, find out that that's the definition you may have, and then realize, wait a minute, I don't have to define that concept in that way. Just because someone has money does not automatically mean they are evil. You have to detach and disassemble that definition so it's no longer real to you. Bring it into consciousness, disassemble it, and then ask yourself, well, what definition would I prefer in its place? I would prefer to believe that I can be rich and be a good person, that those two things are synonymous, not the other thing. You've created a new definition of what is possible, of what is real. And in truly doing it, if that is really a core belief, you will then, by identifying it and redefining it, create a completely new vibration in your being that will then attract different things in your life that you will then respond to in a different way and experience a different manifestation. Does that explain the idea?
Yes, so when fear comes up, then you look basically at what the fear is expressing as the definition?
Exactly, because you see, you are a 100% energy. And fear is a manifestation of your energy. You experience that energy as fear by knowing that you have, or by understanding that it's only experienced as fear because it's being run through or being flowed through definitions that are out of alignment with your true self. You experience the very same energy as joy when you then run that energy through belief systems and definitions that are in alignment with your true self. Your true self being an aspect of creation who is unconditionally loving and loved. And so when you have definitions that are out of phase with that, vibrationally out of phase with that, your energy in that sense, its vibrational frequency will become, for lack of a better term, distorted. And you feel that distortion as the emotion you call fear. But that's a good thing, because if you do have those distortions, fear is the alarm bell that knocks on your door and wakes you up and says, hey, I'm letting you know in no uncertain terms, because you can't ignore me, that you have a definition that's out of whack, out of alignment with your true self. And so I'm giving you an opportunity to find out what that is, and therefore the fear has served a positive purpose. And using fear that way, redefining fear in a good way, in a positive way, is the first step toward changing definitions all the way down the line. Anything that comes to you is a messenger with information about more of who you are. And if you use every experience that way, by redefining it that way, then you will experience it that way, and it will take you further and deeper into yourself to discover more and more and more of what it is that makes you tick as a personality. Because your personality is a construct built up out of the definitions you believe are most true. And definitions always give rise to emotions, which always give rise to behavior. You cannot express a behavior without having a feeling, and you cannot experience a feeling without having a definition. If I say to you, you are ashkuda, how do you feel about me saying that about you?
Fine.
Well, not really one thing or another, because you don't really have a meaning for the word, do you?
No.
So you see, if I say, just an example, you're stupid, obviously that starts bringing up feelings in people, because you have given a meaning to the word and made it real. But if stupid becomes as meaningless as ashkuda to you, you will not react. You'll remain neutral and realize it's just a definition, and you can choose to give it a positive or negative spin as it relates to yourself, or recognize it has nothing to do with you, and then simply go on your way without having an emotional negative reaction to it. But it's all stemmed from the definition first. Without the definition, there is no feeling. Without that feeling, there is no behavior. So all behavior stems from feeling, which stems from definition. So if you're behaving in a way you don't prefer and you're feeling in a way you don't prefer, follow that trail back to the definition by asking yourself the penetrating question, what would I have to believe is true about myself in order to be having this emotional experience and this behavior in this situation? And that will be the first step towards disassembling that definition and digging down deeper to the core, because there may be something else under that that will support that idea. So, going back to the idea of the definition that equated being evil with having money and moving things away from yourself that would cause abundance, there may even be a deeper belief that allows you to perpetuate that allows you to even consider that belief as being real. And the deeper belief may have to do with things like your own sense of self-worth. Well, I may intellectually understand that it doesn't mean you're automatically evil when you're rich, but I still can't seem to break through that idea of attracting abundance to myself. Well, maybe there's a deeper core issue even underlying that has to do with believing whether or not you're even worthy to try. You understand? Mm-hmm. Is this helping clarify the idea?
Yes, it's helping to clarify the idea, and then the best way then to handle that is to then look and see what those beliefs are.
Well, yes. I mean, the best way is whatever is your way. We are giving you ideas that you can use as tools, but of course your imagination will adapt them. But generally speaking, on a fundamental level, yes, it is important, because you are a physical personality construct, it is important to find out what you're actually made of in order to adjust the construct that you are, the three-sided construct of definitions, emotions, and behaviors. You have to know what you're made of. So getting in touch with the fundamental definitions is like going back to the blueprint. If the house is leaning sideways and the materials it's made out of are shoddy, go back to the original blueprint and say, well, I can see that there's something here that's off in the blueprint, and that's why the workers brought shoddy materials, and that's why the house is leaning. If I correct the blueprint and say, no, get this material and build it this way, then they will bring in stronger materials and the house will stand straight. You follow me?
Yes, and then start acting as if, in other words.
Well, of course, because it is. You act as if because it is.
And that automatically changes the vibration of your
That
being.
changes the vibration. And then the last step you need to be aware of is to make sure you understand that physical reality is just a mirror, but that it's not always one-to-one, that it's neutral as a set of props. So, in other words, knowing that you're changing your vibrational frequency, knowing that you are changing your reality, does not always mean you will immediately see a change in the circumstance, in the set of props around you, outside of you. The first stage in truly expressing that you know you have changed, acting as if, you say, is to respond differently to the same situation than you did before. By responding differently to the same appearing situation than you did before, that is when you give the situation leave to then be more truly reflective of the change that has happened within you, because now there is conviction in you that you've changed, regardless of what things look like on the outside. You now know that things on the outside are just neutral props, devoid of meaning, no built-in meaning, that you determine the meaning. So even though it may look the same, you're now saying, I am giving it a different definition. I now know it's not an interruption or an obstacle. I now know it's part of my path and it serves me in a positive way. I'm redefining it. And by responding differently to it, then it has the best opportunity to actually change the outside reflection. But the first step is not the outside changing. The first step is knowing and behaving as if you truly are different in relation to what's going on outside.
So to
because there
change-
really is no outside.
To change for change itself rather than for outcome.
Yes, exactly. When you change for change itself, the paradox is you change the outcome. When you change for the outcome, you've never really changed.
Thank you.
Does that help?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I have various questions too, and you may have answered a lot of questions I have with her question.
That's all
And there
right.
was a-
I haven't answered yours.
That's true. I know my passion,
And that would be?
music,
All right.
but I have a difficult.
All right, now one moment before you go on.
Okay.
Remember also that we talk about the idea of following your passion, following your excitement, and also in this context today, the passion, the desire we're talking about is also for changing core belief. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
All right, continue.
Well, the core belief I want to change is I've been a healer for 15 years, and
All right.
I'm angry.
You're
I'm
angry, an angry healer.
That's right, Bashar. I'm feeling
All
that
right.
anger.
A no-nonsense, knock-down, drag-out, angry healer.
Yes.
All right.
I'm ready to give it up. and
Oh,
it's the-
are you?
Yes, I want to, but it's the money. It's
the money.
the surviving.
Surviving. Ooh, not even living. Surviving. Ooh.
And the funny thing is that I'm abundant right now.
I see.
I am being very well taken care of through my husband.
Yes.
But I
That's
don't.
a form of abundance.
Yes, but I want to find self-sufficiency.
Well, go right ahead.
And I want to go for my music. I want to let go of the healership. And
Go right ahead.
But how?
However, I understand you are physical beings. Please pay attention to your true system of beliefs. I know you want to get to the core things and change these, but while you are holding on to certain beliefs, don't short circuit yourself by moving into something you say is your passion sooner than your belief systems are honestly ready to let you do. Otherwise, you will just wind up jumping off a cliff and suddenly being surprised that you can't fly. As long as you still hold on to the belief that you will not fly, it would be wise not to jump off the cliff. Or at least start climbing down the cliff. As long as you believe your belief systems can support you that far, you can start some level of your passion, but respect where your beliefs actually are, and that simply takes honest self-assessment to find out what those definitions are so that you're not fooling yourself into thinking you're truly ready to live your passion when you yourself have contrary beliefs about that. So it's all right to take your time, is all we are saying, as long as you respect where you're truly at with it. Now, if you really feel that you can take a bigger leap than you have before, then by all means take whatever leap you are comfortable with, but make sure it's simply as much as you possibly can do in the direction of your passion while respecting where you're really at. I'm not saying be hesitant. I'm saying have true recognition of what your beliefs will really allow you to do. Because sometimes when you take that leap and feel that you've gone through an experience where taking that leap has suddenly smacked you in the face like a brick wall, that experience itself is for the purpose of putting you in touch with other beliefs you may still be holding on to that didn't really allow you to take the leap you wanted. And so that's okay too. You follow me?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Just use the experience that way and you will be using it, let's say, appropriately. Nevertheless, you want to do your music instead of your healing, although there isn't necessarily that much difference between the two, is there?
I'm not sure yet.
Well, is not healing vibration? Is not music vibration?
True.
Does not music heal?
True.
Well, you can still be a healer and be a musical one. Maybe you're just angry with yourself for not being the kind of healer you would actually rather be. Yes, no, maybe?
Yes. Well,
All right.
I'm also experiencing guilt with that because
Let's pile on the negative beliefs. Let's make it that much more difficult. Not only am I angry that I'm not doing what I want, but I'm also guilty about not doing it. Bad me, shame on me. Let's really pile on the difficulty level instead of just doing what I want. Let's spend more time processing all the things I want to judge about myself. Now, you understand, I'm not making fun of you, yeah?
I understand.
All right. However, sometimes humans are so easy to make fun of. We just can't help ourselves. You know, because we don't have TV. You put on quite a show, all of you, and we are more than happy to watch. However, this is an interactive show. So, what do you gain? And here's where we connect. Very good for asking the question, very good for making the statement. Brilliant, thank you. Here's where we connect to the idea of really exploring core beliefs, because as we have said, the beliefs you hold on to, the definitions you hold on to because you want to. You never hold on. You will never, I guarantee it, believe me, you will never hold on to a belief or a definition, no matter how negative, that you don't define as working for you on some level. If you hold on to it, it's because you think it serves you to hold on to it. Because you've defined it in a way that says, as uncomfortable as it is to hold on to this belief, the alternative is scarier. So this makes me feel more comfortable, so I'll keep it, thank you. You will never hold on to that belief if you actually believed this was more advantageous. But if you're scared of this choice, you will think this is more advantageous, to hold on to what you know, to hold on to what you're familiar with. As uncomfortable as it may be, it's familiar, and sometimes that's why the symbol on the Enneagrammatic circuit, the last one is the unknown. Sometimes you define the unknown as scarier, and you'd rather have the familiar, as unpleasant as it is. And there it is again, another example of attaching definition to things. This is horrible, it's horrible, it's horrible. I can't stand it, I can't stand it, I can't stand it, but I can't stand that more. When you switch that idea, believe me, you will let go of this instantly and attach to that immediately. As soon as you change the definition of what actually serves you better, as soon as you get in touch with that core belief that going in this direction will actually be the best thing for you, you will immediately do so, and believe me, nothing will stop you. Nothing. Nothing gets in your way. Nothing gets in your way. Everything you're doing because you choose to do it, because you've defined it as the best thing for you to do by comparison to this other option. But if you know that other option could serve you, you simply have to get in touch with the rest of the definitions that don't allow you to automatically choose it, that don't allow you to feel that it would. And that's usually the definition that does that. Is this making some sense to you?
Yes, I just want to feel it so I can go.
All right. Well, as you say, first of all, you're angry about doing something that's not really who you are. All right, that's fine. Natural anger, shall we call it alignment, energy alignment, that's what it's doing. It's aligning you with your truth. Natural anger lasts about, 15 seconds. Anything beyond that is judgment. You understand?
Yes.
Natural anger is energy alignment. It's the recognition that a thing is not you by comparison. And you go, oh, no, not me. That's not who I am. But that's all anger actually is. If it lasts longer than that, that's where these other definitions of judgment come in. Oh, guilty. Guilty for not choosing this sooner. Now I'm really angry. And the guilt feeds the judgmental version of anger and perpetuates and magnifies that, and you spend your day going around in circles dealing with that, instead of simply using the anger in a positive way and say, oh, this version of healing is not who I am. All right, this is. And start moving in that direction, because you know that's who you are, and because you know that's who you are, you know that's what will support you. Because what excites you the most comes as a complete kit. Otherwise, it would be pointless. If what excited you the most couldn't support you in the reality you've chosen to be in, there would be no point in that being the thing that excites you, because it wouldn't allow you to do that thing. It wouldn't allow you to continue to move in that direction if it didn't come with the ability to bring you what you need to continue to move in that direction. So you can even logic this out for yourself if that's the facility that works best for you, and recognize that there would be no reason for you to get excited about something if it didn't contain the ability to do that thing, to continue your excitement. Do you follow me?
I follow you.
Is this making sense and dollars to you?
I'm feeling it, yes.
All right. Now, if the other issues come up, I'm unsure about this, I'm unsure about that, I'm not good enough for this, I'm not qualified for that, I don't know enough about this, I don't know enough about that. Do what you need to do to gain the information and experience that you need, knowing that that's not a path toward your excitement, that all those things are part of your excitement. They're just different perspectives, different variations of it. Different parts of the process of living your excitement. It's all living your excitement. And you can use even what you've been doing as part of your excitement, because it's finally brought you to a place where it's become clear what you are not. And sometimes people on earth have to simply figure out what they are by first figuring out what they are not. Sometimes it just works best that way for some of you, because now you know where you don't want to go. And that helps you really define where you do want to go. And if you worked it that way, bless it. It got you to this realization. So don't be angry with it. Don't be angry with yourself. Use it. Say, aha, freedom, release, insight, inspiration. The path I've been on, the things I've been doing have brought me to this realization. Hallelujah.
Got you. Thank you, Bashar.
If you don't use your life up to this point that way, it's like having a path of stepping stones and saying, I invalidate the stepping stones I have been walking on. If you invalidate them, if you judge them as unworthy of having been there, they will vanish experientially, and thus then how can they get you to where you want to go? How can they lead you to the rest of the stepping stones if you invalidate the stones you've stepped on?
I think it's the fear of crossing over and how I'm going to be supported financially to get to that level of my passion. I don't want to go to work at Mickey D's. And even though that my husband is supporting me, I keep thinking, I really want to let go of the massage. I do. I have to.
Then do what you can in the direction of your highest joy to the degree that your belief system will allow you to. Start there. Go as far as you believe you are willing to believe you can be supported.
Okay.
And don't discount any avenue that you really believe is a representation of your excitement in any form.
Okay.
But also, don't put conditions on yourself. You see, what you just did in that last sentence was bring up a flurry of belief systems and conditions. The only way I can get there and support myself is by working here or doing this job I don't like. I have to do it that way. No, you don't. But you have just revealed to yourself all the belief systems you have about that. So that's good. You've just made yourself transparent, and now you can deal with why you are afraid to take that step. You are afraid to take that step because you have a definition that says you must do it in a way that is unpleasant for you, that is not preferred. But that's not necessarily an empirical truth. It's just your definition that says that. So get in touch with why you have that definition and why you've made it real, and make it unreal. Because it doesn't have to be real, does it? One of the wonderful, wonderful things that exists is that there are other people. Other people act as shining examples of what's possible. If someone else can do it, you can do it. Do you understand?
Yes.
That's why all of you, really, most importantly, can be examples to everyone else by really following your passion. Because when you see someone else do it, it's not that you have to do it exactly the same way, but if they did it, that means it's possible for you. If you have attracted yourself into their life, or at least attracted them into your life enough to be aware of them and what they've done, then be inspired by the fact that they've done it as knowledge. As knowledge that if you've attracted them into your life as an example, that's a sign, that's a marker that you've done that to show yourself you are capable of the same thing. So if they created abundance in their lives in a fantastically rich, effortless, fun, and playful way, so can you. If the example exists anywhere and you can see it or be aware of it, it means you're capable of the same thing, or the example would never have come into your life, because there are no accidents. Does that make sense?
Yes, it frees me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bashar.
This and what we are talking about in this kind of dialogue is not just a precursor to the idea of getting in touch with core beliefs. Everything we are saying has everything to do with really using this example, as we just pointed out in this last conversation, as an example of having your own dialogue at the same time and using this and applying it to your own situation to get in touch with your beliefs and your underlying beliefs and your core beliefs. All of this is part of the process. We are not stepping aside from all the other information we're talking about. This is part of the information. These dialogues are part of the information, part of the process in action. So pay attention to that. Are there more clarifications and questions?
Hello, dear Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I'm just step on the path when I'm trying to explore who I am and why I'm here.
Yes.
And it brings also tremendous responsibilities because it's not...
Stop. Before you go on, are you defining the term responsibility in a positive or negative way?
Positive.
All right. Go ahead.
And it's interesting, like you said, there's no accidents in the universe.
No.
And more I'm getting, I feel like I'm just on the baby level to be on that road, but I'm getting...
You all are.
Thank you. But I'm getting more and more.
And so are we.
Thank you.
We are always all learning. There is no end. So, we are all masters, and we're all on the baby level. And a master knows they're on the baby level. That's what makes them a master. Continue.
It's interesting that I'm getting more and more information about stuff what even hard to comprehend by human mind, but it's very exciting and very interesting about the answer to question why I'm here.
Yes.
And I would like you, would you please scan my energy and maybe ask the guys on the other side.
The guys?
To get their permission. Because in a way, I feel that me and you are related.
Yes, in a sense, we are speaking to the people we are speaking to because there is an energetic connection. Otherwise, you'd be talking to someone else. So there is a relationship, there is a relatedness to the energy connection. Now, with their permission, your permission, and this goes for all of you, individually as well as collectively, what will help clarify some of these issues is information that does already exist. If you're not aware of it yet, it would be perhaps advantageous for you to become aware of this information. And it is in the form of what we will suggest as 3 books. Read Journey of Souls, Destiny of Souls, and the newest Conversations with God book called Home with God. All 3 are specifically about choosing from the spirit level the idea of physical reality and what goes into it, and why you choose those things, and why you wind up where you wind up. Educate yourself, if you have not done so yet, with the information in those books. They will help you synthesize a better and clearer understanding of the processes and mechanisms that go on in the spirit world that wind up in what your lives turn out to be, and thus, in some senses, answer many of the questions as to why is this happening? Why am I this person? So read those 3 books, see what that does, process that information, and see if it will take you further toward answering the why. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, one moment. One moment. Are you specifically or strongly attracted to the color lavender or the flower?
Yes.
All right. This is, again, coming from your guides as a very good focusing element for you. It puts you, in a sense, helps you put yourself in the proper vibrational state to best absorb this kind of information. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I also have a question, more specific question.
Yes.
Is one of my guide extraterrestrial?
Yes.
Can you name
No.
him? Okay, thank you. My other question, and this was piquing my curiosity recently, it's about, and you brought it many times and even today, that it's no such thing as a past life, reincarnations, all lives are going on simultaneously.
Yes, you can experience it as a past life, but they don't really exist in the past because there's no such thing. Everything exists now.
Yes, but my question is, can I change my frequency to experience those lives and then change my frequency to the present frequency? And
yes.
Is it any effects of those parallel lives on a current frequency life?
Yes, of course. They're all interconnected. There is constant communication and bleed through of information and experiences crossing all those lives. Constantly. You may not always know where it comes from, where an inspiration suddenly comes from, but it might be coming from an experience in another parallel life that you know you can use in this life, and so you simply make a connection, download the information, and use it without necessarily having to know it's coming in that sense from another life. You understand?
Yes, but how I can achieve that? I was
You don't necessarily always want to know where it's coming from, because that might slow down your ability to actually use that information in this life. When you need to know where it comes from, you will.
All right.
You can be open to exploring that idea, and when and where it's important for you to know that it's part and parcel of another life experience your oversoul may be having, then you'll know. But if you don't know, it's not always important for you to know, because it may not be part of your experience here to know specifically where that information comes from, because you need to use it in this life in the way you need to use it, not in the way that version of you needed to use it. Make sense?
Yes.
But if it excites you to explore that idea, see where your excitement takes you without expectation. Because remember, you're choosing to live this life,
Yes.
not become the other lives. Although you can connect to them, just use your imagination. The lavender may help with that as well.
Thank you.
But you may only at first get very quick flashes. That may be enough. Don't insist on more, just take it the way it comes, because that's the way it serves you. And if it needs to come in longer flashes and longer understandings of what's going on in different lives, then the more you do it, it may come that way if it needs to. All right?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Yes. And the last thing, I was very excited today to hear about that you stressed the importance of the dreams.
Yes.
And this is what I also been getting messages that I need to look more into my dreams.
Yes.
Because this is the way how my guides speak to me.
Absolutely. And that's very important. But what we are also stressing here today is not so much the importance of dreams as the importance of dreaming. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
What is the time frame remaining for this segment? All right. About one question.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I know a hypnotherapist in Atlanta who changes negative beliefs in your subconscious and cleanses attached spirits, also done by John of God in Brazil.
One moment. Please remember, listen to your language. You do all the changing that happens in you. Someone else may have the ability to inspire you to make that change, but no one else, not even God, can change you if you don't want to change. Remember the joke we told in the beginning?
Yes.
The light bulb has to want to change.
Right.
So you make all the changes in you. No one changes you. But they may set up a vibration from which you take inspiration to change yourself. That's how healing works.
Mm-hmm.
That's how masters work. They give off a vibration that represents the healed state, but you have to set that vibration up within yourself by matching it in order for you to experience the change or the healing. So you're actually doing the work, but they're acting as a reflective vibrational example. They're not doing it to you or for you. Does that make sense?
Right.
So pay attention to how you say those things, because sometimes in phrasing it the way you phrased it, it can be that you're in a state where you're giving your power away to someone else, and that's exactly the opposite direction you want to go in.
So I can heal myself
You
without...
do heal yourself all the time. Anytime there is a healing or a change, you're the one doing it. But you may be taking your cue from examples others are giving you. And the fact that they may say, you are healed, doesn't mean they actually did it. It still means you did it too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
Yes, definitely.
Does this help?
Yes.
All right, and?
If I don't get inspired myself, it is helpful to go see these people.
Yes, it can help trigger the idea. All I'm saying is always remember that if you do get triggered and if something does happen, it's you that really did it, even though you may have allowed them to inspire you and help you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.